If you are looking for something new and different for the upcoming Compliance Week celebration in November, check out The Compliance Kids. It's my 3-book children's series on compliance and compliance professionals for children. But they make great gifts and great training tools for your employees. You can check it out on Amazon.com. We've linked to it in the show notes. The Compliance Tip of the Day. This is the podcast where we bring you daily insights and practical advice on navigating the ever-evolving landscape of compliance requirements. Whether you're a seasoned compliance professional or just starting your journey, my aim in this podcast is to provide you with a bite-sized, actionable tip to help you stay on top of your compliance game. Join us as we explore the latest trends from the Department of Justice, share some best practices, demystify complex compliance issues to help keep your organization doing business ethically and in compliance, and at the end of the day, more profitably. Tune in daily for your dose of compliance wisdom. Let's make compliance a little less daunting, one tip at a time. Now a word from the sponsor of the Compliance Podcast Network, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
In this episode, we take a deep dive into how the 2024 ECCP changes compliance culture expectations. The update to the ECCP is groundbreaking for several reasons. Not only does it elevate the role of a compliance culture, but it also requires companies to take measurable steps to ensure that a strong compliance environment permeates to all levels of the organization. The DOJ's focus is no longer solely on having a compliance program in place, but proving its effectiveness through documented, data-based insights into organizational culture. So what are the new questions from the DOJ? These questions specifically around culture expand the range of factors that the compliance professional must factor into evaluating their program. Gone are the days when culture was seen as an abstract concept that couldn't be measured. Now the DOJ expects organizations to provide data showing that compliance culture is monitored and actively managed. Compliance professionals are asked to answer questions about how often they measure compliance culture, whether they collect employee input from all levels, and how they address feedback. The next key point is the importance of data-driven culture audits. One of the most critical, notable aspects of the ECCP is the emphasis on data. Culture audits for years have been optional tools for compliance professionals, but now I think they've mandated them to become essential. Culture audits offer the compliance professional tools they need to gather quantifiable metrics that speak to the health of their organization's compliance culture. Rather than relying on anecdotal evidence or generic surveys, culture audits provide an in-depth look at engagement levels, trust in leadership, and employee perceptions. How about aligning hiring and incentives with compliance? This is one of the most transformational aspects of the 2024 ECCP. The DOJ expects organizations to ensure that incentives align with ethical behavior and compliance standards. For the compliance professional, this means developing and implementing hiring practices that emphasize not only skills and qualifications, but cultural fit. In particular, in terms of adherence to your organization's core and ethical values. So what does all of this mean? Well, I think the DOJ's updated ECCP has set a new standard for compliance culture, placing data-driven practices at the forefront. Compliance tip of the day will appear daily, and frankly, it's one of the most requested topics for a podcast that I get on a regular basis. It's going to be short and sweet with one tip with some takeaways that you can utilize to implement into your compliance program. If you've got a question that you would like a tip on, please submit them through our website, and we will use them in an upcoming episode. The compliance tip of the day is a production of the award-winning Compliance Podcast Network. Finally, this podcast contains promotional materials.